happy birthday BMW motorbikes. The Munich-based giant hosted a special anniversary event at its headquarters, with plenty on show for guests. It wasn't always an easy ride, however. The two-wheeler division had some serious obstacles to overcome in the 1970s. It was a time when the market was dominated by the Japanese, recalls BMW Bikes executive Karl Gerlinger. They introduced practically every conceivable model and engine configuration and segment. And there we were with a two-cylinder boxer concept, a monoculture that could no longer survive on its own. That wasn't enough for a market we used to be a leader in. We had fallen behind, where the Japanese were way ahead. The highlight of the evening, a motorbike incorporating icons of the past and future developments. The R9T, whose name is no coincidence, of course. The neo-retro bike has plenty of thrills without the frills, and comes with an array of customization options. The R9T is a concentration of 90 years of BMW heritage, explains BMW Motorbikes president Stefan Schaller. It focuses on the purer side of motorbike design, the minimum needed. BMW's latest machine is also a throwback to the past. The R90S, for example, was the first BMW bike to have a designer involved, an important milestone for BMW. It hit the headlines again when the racing version took Steve McLaughlin to victory in the very first Superbike event in 1976.
Yeah, this bike had a lot to do with my life, but besides winning the first Superbike race, it was kind of the last of the old generation of bikes. And they became more technical after this. And there was a period after this period in the late 70s when the European bikes fell away and the Japanese took over everything. And then somewhere in the 80s, by the time '88, by the time of World Superbike, then the European bikes came back. But this is what we like to call the old school bike. When you rode it, it moved a little, it was not so stable, you know, it was like a living being thing, you know. Harley Davidsons are still like this. But the new modern bikes are much more stable, much more practical, and much safer, for sure.
BMW continues to move with the times. Another example being the C-Evolution electric scooter, a pioneering piece of engineering. And far from being consigned to history, the GS is one of the old-school models being further evolved to keep up with the competition. It now has a highly effective combined air and water cooling system. The classic form with the beak remains. His motorbike division doesn't play the essential role for the group in business terms, but Stefan Schaller does see it playing an emotional role. For many people, BMW Bikes provides an emotional anchor. When it comes to BMW, they say, wow, they compete in races. They race through the countryside. They have GSs. It's a special kind of motivation. And the 9T is not short on emotional appeal either. Unlike the GS with its practical virtues, this model is all about sheer enjoyment. The engine is a big part of the fun factor. The air-cooled 1.2-liter two-cylinder boxer engine generates 81 kilowatts and 120 newton-meters of torque. Prices for the 9T in Germany start at €14,500.